it for the afters because we have to get to this conversation about Furman, the Field of 68 After Dark's adopted team. I think that's fair to say, right? Like, look, I'm all in on the Dins. T.O., I don't know if Goodman knows this. As soon as they won, I sent a selfie video of myself to the group chat of me, you, Bob Ritchie, and Fanta. And you know what you did? You sent one just screaming into the camera too. And you know what Fanta did? He did the exact same thing. Bob never answered. I guess he's got more important things to do than talk to us. But
don't bother.
I just
hey, real professional. Yeah, real professional over here.
Yeah. No, look, in all seriousness, Furman was down 50-38 with about 8 minutes left in that game. And they came back to win. And they did it with Mike Bothwell sitting on the bench with foul trouble. Jalen Slauson, 19 points, 9 boards, 4 assists. Like I can't.
He took over.
He did. Just look, go ahead. ISO TO. Go ahead. You got this.
I mean, guys, I've been fortunate enough to call Furman games for about 2 years and some change. I consider this year, as far as my game calling over, like 2 years and some change. I've been fortunate enough to follow Furman and be part of them. Jalen Slauson's as good as advertised. This was no fluke. This was no one game thing. He's been this good for 2 years now, and he's had to figure himself out some, but man, you saw the best version of him today. His ability to attack from the outside, make passes, post up a little bit, score. Mike Bothwell fouls out. He scores 9 straight. What are we doing? It's like he knows what he's capable of, and they have pieces around him that have played really, really well. JP Pegues, guys, hadn't had a 3 since the semifinal game of the SoCon tournament and hits the game winner to beat Virginia for Bob Ritchie's first tournament win in his first tournament appearance.
Yeah.
Like these guys, they got balls. 1, 2, that offense that Bob runs is really difficult to guard. And he proved it today against Virginia. That offense is hard to guard for Virginia. Think about that.
Mm-hmm. Well, listen, I mean, Furman had 2 older dudes. They had 2 men back, right? Slauson and Bothwell came back for this. Mm-hmm. They came back to get in the tournament after losing last year to Chattanooga in the SoCon title game. And not only did they get there, but they beat a Virginia program and a Virginia coach in Tony Bennett, an older team as well. I mean, Kihei Clark, boy, I mean, it was crazy. I mean, a 5th-year point guard who's known for what? His intelligence, right? Mm-hmm. And he makes what he admitted it after the game. I mean, he just made a mistake at the end of the game, throwing the ball back out when he probably should have just called the timeout. And if he called the timeout, Virginia probably ends up winning that game instead. He throws it out. It's a turnover.
Yeah. Look, I want to have a conversation about Virginia and about Kihei Clark and kind of the narrative going on with that team. But before we do, we were able to catch up with the man of the hour. You guys have to hear what JP Pegues had to say when I asked him if he thought his shot was going in. Now let me welcome on to the Field of 68 After Dark, the man of the hour, the guy that hit the biggest shot of the NCAA tournament to date, JP Pegues. He had the game winner as number 13 seed Furman knocked off number 4 Virginia in the first round, second game of the day. JP, let me start you off with this. When the shot's in the air, do you know it's good? Do you know that's going in?
Yeah, I knew as soon as I caught it. I mean, at that point, all I could do was relax and shoot it. As soon as I let it go, I just felt it. It felt good and it went in.
So what are you thinking? You guys get the trap in the corner, right? And you see that ball can throw. It's Kihei Clark. We're not used to him making plays like that. What are you thinking when the ball's in the air? Like, oh, we got a chance. This is ours now.
Yeah, I mean, me and Alex Williams, we both got a good trap on him, and I seen him kind of like leaning back, and I knew they had a timeout, so I expected them, to use it, but they end up not using it. As soon as I seen the ball go up in the air, and I seen Garrett going for it, I'm like, oh, he's about to get this. And as soon as it was in his hands, I just started clapping for it because I knew that, they were scrambling in transition. And as soon as he gave it to me, I was like, this is going up.
You guys were down by 12 midway through the second half. You go to that 1-3-1 zone, and it changed everything. Could you feel that momentum in that moment?
Yeah, most definitely. We were cutting down the lead. Like you said, they were up 12. We cut it back down to 6, and they bring it right back up to 12. So we changed it up. And, I'll say it's a good feeling that, not only the Furman fans were out there cheering. We had, almost the whole arena on our side, excluding the Virginia fans, but you could just feel it. It was surreal. It was the biggest crowd that we played in, and we moved and we thrived off that energy.
I gotta get you to talk a little bit about your guy Jalen Slauson out there. I thought he was fantastic in the second half. He had the dunk in the first half, but when Mike went down with the fouls, when he fouled out, Jalen is the guy that kind of brought you back. Talk to me about his performance and just how good he was. Yeah, I'm sure you guys see that all the time, huh?
Yeah, I mean, we're the people that get to see that Jalen Slauson every day in practice. You know, he's a killer. Man, I mean, his performance was just terrific. Like for that, you know, he scored like 9 straight points, I believe. Mm-hmm. I mean, he put the team on his back at the end of the day. You know, and we knew that he was gonna have to step up. He was gonna be a big part of this game. And you know, I'm proud of him. The team's proud of him for just staying composed and, you know, having belief and not giving up. And he made some terrific plays as the Jalen Slauson that we know.
When you got back to the locker room after you did the interviews, after you do the post game, after you get up on the stage, after you answer all the questions, what happened? Did they get you? Did you get hit with the water?
Man, yeah, they got me. They got me. It was definitely a splash party in there, most definitely. But, you know, we were just celebrating as a team, as a family. We were just taking it all in.
Yeah, well, look, I hope you enjoy it for just a little while. You got another game here in 48 hours. JP Pegues, the man of the hour. We appreciate you being here. Field of 68 after dark.
All right. Thank you, my man.
Awesome, man. Hey, I appreciate it. And go get another one tomorrow, all right?
Yes, sir. Will do.
All right. Take care. In the first round, 3 of the last 4 tournaments that they've played in. Where do you stand on kind of this view of Tony Bennett as I don't know. I don't even know how to phrase it, man. He's got a national title 4 years ago.
Calling him a one-hit wonder.
That's the thing.
That's what he's saying.
That's the thing. I mean, listen, I would trade 1 national title for 3 first-round losses any day of the week.
No
any
question.
Day of the week. And Pat Forty wrote a column, a good friend of mine from SI, and I just thought it was unwarranted. Again, one thing about Tony Bennett that he probably didn't write in the column, and Pat's written about a lot of the guys who have broken rules over the last few years. Tony Bennett, probably maybe the cleanest guy in the entire country, number 1. He did win a national title. I know he's lost some first-round games here, and obviously that team was different. That team had pros, right? Ty Jerome playing in the league. DeAndre Hunter didn't play in the game by the way that they lost to UMBC. Kyle Guy has been in and out of the league as well. That team was different than this team. But ultimately, to call Tony Bennett and Virginia kind of failures and call it a blip, that national, they've won 6 regular season titles, ACC titles in the last 10 years.
Oh, and by the way, they also made a Sweet 16 in the Elite 8 in the years before.
Right. And Tony Bennett, by the way, at Washington State made a damn Sweet 16. The guy's an elite level coach. I get they've had some bad losses here, but to take shots.
What I'll say is this, and I'll take us to break on this, is that the fact that team was a 4 seed, they completely played above their head the entire season. Right. That's all I'm going to say about it. So listen, Furman and Princeton, they were not the most impressive teams in college basketball today. For me, it was Duke and Penn State. Andrew Funk. We got the Funk coming up next. Field of 68 after dark.